Hello and thank you for tuning in. What I want to share with you today is my very first experience with a half Ironman that I just completed this Sunday. But more so, the 4 unexpected lessons that I learned that will dramatically impact your business or any relationship if we were more aware of them on a daily basis. For those that are not aware of what a half Ironman is, you swim for 2 kilometers in the lake, you bike for 90 kilometers, and then you run a half marathon, which is 21 kilometers. I decided to do this last minute, so I put in about 5 days of training, and then I took about a week just to rest my body. Not the smartest way of doing it. I would never recommend that, but it definitely was fun. The swim, extremely overwhelming. I have never done that distance in my life before, so that was the first day on race day. When I started, the whistle blew off, hundreds of people in the water. I started getting tired within a few minutes, and I almost started thinking, will I actually make it to the end here? And then it occurred to me at that point in time that the reason I was having such a difficult time and I was getting overwhelmed was because I was more focused on other people around me than myself. And what that means is that we need to run our own race. And when you start trying to run other people's races, you won't make it to the finish line, be it in business, in relationships, or any sports that you want to accomplish. And once I zoned everybody else out, I found my own tempo, I found my own pace, and before I knew it, at that point in time, I was at the finish line with more energy than I thought I would have and expected. Even though I fell on the ground, I think I kissed the ground a couple of times. I was never happier to have my feet on something solid. I walked to the transition to make sure I rested my legs. I hopped on that bike, and within 3 kilometers, I knew it was going to be a long day. The last time I rode 90 kilometers was probably about 15 years ago. So I definitely slowed down. I wanted to make sure I conserved my energy and the muscles and the strength in my legs. And the most amazing thing happened is checking my ego at the door. Because every gender, every age group, people that you would never think would be athletic at all would zoom right by me. And for me to keep my humility in check and the ego at the door, to sit there and say, there's nobody else that I need to catch. This race is for myself. That was a great lesson. And the same thing with our businesses is, are we really building our business, or are we just trying to build a business bigger than our neighbor's business? And that's a key thing to always be aware of. The most amazing thing that I saw was this lady that actually stopped and helped somebody that had a flat tire. She gave her spare tube to this lady. And I always believed that how you play a game is a reflection of how you live your life. It shows your true character of how you will be in any situation. Mind you, I kept track of how many people I actually passed on the bike, and I passed 4 people. Mind you, 3 of them were actually fixing their flat tire during the time I passed them, and the 4th one was this lady who was helping somebody fix their flat tire. And truth be told, by the time the bike ride was finished, all 4 of them passed me again anyways. But it definitely was fun. I had a lot of fun with it. You have all those hours to get into your mind, and it's amazing what goes through your head when you're in pain during that time. But it was amazing when that lady caught up to me. My knees were really hurting, so at points I was grabbing my knee while I was trying to ride, and she noticed that. She actually slowed down and genuinely was concerned if I was okay. And it was amazing to feel someone's authenticity. And that's what's really needed in this business world, is for people to be authentic. Not to sit there and say, well, what can I do for this person and what can I get in return? And that's not what business is about. That's not what relationships are about, or building a community where you live. It's about how can I help somebody else, and in turn, enough is going to come back your way. The run, as soon as I stopped the bike, I was so happy to get off the bike. There's no nice way of saying this. My ass hurt. 90 kilometers on this small little seat. Next time for sure I'm getting one of those cushiony seats with the springs. Not like I'm going to go any slower anyway, so I might as well be comfortable. The last 15-20 kilometers on the bike was extremely hard. My legs were so fatigued by that time. I was really slowing down, and I really had to dig deep inside my mind why I was there and take the focus off the legs and just focus on the fun, smile. I was making jokes to myself. I was singing, and if you've ever heard me sing, you never want to hear me sing, so that alone made me laugh. But I was happy to get off that bike. When I did, my legs were extremely jello. But in my mind, I was done. In my mind, the race was done for me. I had finished the half Ironman. The hard part was done. All I had to do now is get through the motions for the run. 21 kilometers, if I had to crawl my way to the finish line, I would have done it. So I was extremely happy at that point in time. Dropped my bike off. I took my time. I stretched a little bit, and I started the run extremely slow because my knees were really aching from that bike ride, and they were a little bit swollen. I needed to protect them. But as every kilometer went by, they got more and more swollen, and my IT band in my knees started pinching. But it was amazing, the support that I learned, what it can do. The power of the right culture in your business is night and day to your success. All the spectators, the support, the volunteers, how they cheered you on when you passed them. Doesn't matter how slow or fast you were or who you were, if you're in last place or first place, they all genuinely appreciated that you showed up and you were pushing yourself, and that gave you so much energy to keep moving forward. And it reminded me that we take that for granted. We usually celebrate with people in our business when they've actually accomplished something, but we need to celebrate along the way and even before they actually start. And that's the power of recognition and appreciation and support as a culture. So protect the culture around your life, be it in your personal friends or in your business relationships. One of the biggest lessons was when I hit halfway through and there was about 9 kilometers left. Both my knees gave out. I couldn't bend them anymore, so I had to walk the rest of the way. 9 kilometers is a long way to walk when you're exhausted after 6 hours of activities. That was the first time I found myself getting a little frustrated. And it occurred to me that I was getting frustrated because I was focusing on what could have been, how much faster I could have finished. And I was so close, I could have ran through the whole thing. And because of that focus, I lost sight of what I already accomplished and how far I came. And I'm a true believer in setting goals and shooting for something more and becoming better every time, but never at the expense of what you can experience at that moment in time, and never at the expense of celebrating how far you've actually come. So that was a great learning lesson for me. It almost reminded me that there is pleasure in pain. As long as you're having fun along the way, there truly is pleasure in pain. The 4 quick lessons that I took away: run your own race, build your own business, don't be chasing other people's businesses and trying to build a bigger and better business than somebody else. Have humility while you're building your business, and how you play the game is a reflection of how you live your life. So be authentic with people. That way you don't have to fake anything all the time. Support the culture, and understand what kind of culture you want to have as your third piece. The support, the recognition, the appreciation for your people is very important. And always keep in mind, when you're setting your long-term goals, never focus on the goals at the expense of what you have and what you're accomplishing today at that moment in time. Thank you very much for joining in, and never forget how much we're really capable of, always more than we give ourselves credit for. Thank you very much, and have a great day.